One of the things that came up for me in terms of deciding to explore different dance forms, classical dance forms, classical Indian dance forms, Balinese dance forms, getting into some of the modern with Silvestri and all that, on top of requiring a lot of work and a lot of training, was also really intense psychologically, because you are connecting with these stories, and that was a big part of it for me. Was I felt like it was very important to immerse in the stories of the dance and to understand the Natya Shastra, which is the oldest book written on dance and music and theater in India thousands of years ago, and understanding where these people are coming from and the relationship they have to these gods. And maybe they don't necessarily, actually I take that back, in many ways a lot of people in these cultures really, this is their story, this is who they are, this is what they believe, and these are the dances I'm doing, and it's invoking the spirit, and that's really intense. And Balinese dance has a completely different yet same-ish version of these stories, but it's a little different. And the nuances culturally, you have to understand before you can perform them as a dancer. And so on top of learning these dance moves, I'm learning the stories behind them, and it's really intense because it's not, you're not just embodying as a dancer the movement, you're embodying a culture and thousands of years of understanding, and that was what I was having to do, and it would be really intense. And I think I really started to understand these people, and that was intense for me, I think, was understanding where these people are coming from as human beings and the relationship that they have to their myths and to their stories. And not myths for them, that's who they are as human beings. So that was my experience as a dancer.
To speak on the actual hero's journey and how it kind of came through with us, I think it was 2 nights ago. I mean, we hadn't slept. We've been rehearsing for so long. I mean, me and David and Zoe have been sitting like this in the studio next to each other.
And then Ivan.
But Ivan was like at a remote office. Like we would like telegram into him.
Ivan was working so hard he couldn't even make it to rehearsal. He was like.
But I realized that in the process of making this has been our hero's journey, and like, honestly, for us as a band and creative people and as best friends, it's kind of taken us on this like, this really intense kind of reality check of what it is we're doing together. And honestly, for myself, I was at the point where I needed that, you know? I was like, okay, this is driving me crazy, and getting all stressed out about details and this and that and the other. I mean, there's so many things that go between like sound and video. If you guys could even understand one sentence in those rehearsals, it was crazy. And at one point, I figured it out for myself, and I just was like, oh, you can't do this without going on that journey yourself. And I just had to say that. I mean, I don't know what it means yet, but the return is coming.
I can't wait to hear what you say after we do 6 weeks of tour.
I'll be like, happy birthday.
I wanted to just 2 things. First of all, the sense of play. You know, Joe used to say, humor is the hallmark of the mythic. If you don't have humor, you don't have mythology, you have theology. You know, and what you were saying, Zoe, I mean, he would also say mythology is another person's religion.